Yo, it's your boy Afro Axamite. Today we're going to speak about why the Sahelian nations need nuclear weapons. In my opinion, the first reason is deterrence, mutually assured destruction. Nuclear weapons serve as a powerful deterrent. The basic logic is that no country will attack another country with nuclear weapons unless they are willing to risk their total destruction in return. For countries that feel threatened by external forces, especially imperialist countries, this is the case. You need nuclear weapons as a deterrent to secure your sovereignty as a nation so that other countries don't feel like they can come and attack you as if you are weak. It is also a psychological deterrence. So having a nuclear weapon doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use it. Doesn't mean that you have to use it. Most countries on this planet that have nuclear weapons have never used it. The only country that's ever actually dropped nuclear weapons on people is America and Japan. Everybody else who has it as a deterrence, as a psychological deterrence to stop people from intervening in the country's affairs and respecting their nations. So this comes to the second point of sovereignty and national security. It is a protection from external threats. Countries under the threat of invasion and domination, meaning the Sahelian countries and Africa as a whole, who has been under the threat of invasion and domination for years now, nuclear weapons are needed to ensure sovereignty. This is practically true for all nations that may have a history of colonization or imperial exploitation. Security in an unpredictable world. The world is also unpredictable and things are changing. The rise of the BRICS nations, people are becoming more sovereign. People want to move away from the unipolar, Western, conceptualized, rules-based order of the world. So it's also important in that aspect to have something as powerful as a nuclear deterrent. Number 3 is geopolitical leverage. It is your bargaining power. Let's look at the United Nations Security Council. Out of all nations which sit on that Security Council, if I'm not mistaken, it is America, it is the UK, it is France, it is Russia, it is China, if I'm not mistaken. Do not all of these nations have nuclear weapons? And these nations make the final decisions on everybody else's life. They barely make up 25% of the world's population, but they make the final decisions on everybody's life on the basis that they are powerful nations, not only economically, but militarily. And in fact, the only reason why they're powerful economically, why nobody's ever invaded them, is because they have the military capability. This is why it's important, especially for the brothers in the Sahel, Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goita, and Abdurrahmane Chiani, to use the resources that God gave the African, by the way. The first nuclear weapons that were dropped in Japan, the uranium used to make those, came out of the Congo. Funny enough, did not come out of American soil. So we need to use our own minerals to make our military strong. The fourth point would be prestige and national pride. It is a symbol of independence and the will of the people to be free. For countries that have suffered from imperialism and colonialism, nuclear weapons can be a powerful sign of autonomy and self-reliance. Being able to even build a nuclear weapon builds pride in a country. It can show a child from that country that I can become a scientist to the level where it affects the whole people of my country. Countries that build nuclear weapons tend to have a major and strong scientific base in education. So that's also very important. Global standing. Possessing a nuclear weapon can elevate a country's standing on the global stage, like I was talking about with the UN Security Council. So I'm not seeing any like downsides to having a nuclear weapon for the African. I'm not seeing any downsides for the Sahelian man to have a nuclear weapon. I don't see any downsides. Historical context. Many countries that pursue nuclear weapons have experienced some form of external threat, whether through colonialism, imperialism, or a Cold War era superpower rivalry, Soviet Union versus the United States. For instance, India pursued nuclear weapons in part because of its history with British colonial rule, never wanting to be ruled again as a nation. It's important that you're able to build your own capacity to protect yourself. With nations who have nuclear weapons, you can't protect yourself unless, understand? Imbalance of military power is important in this world because there is an imbalance everywhere. Conventional military weaknesses. If a nation is militarily weaker compared to the imperialist power, nuclear weapons will provide a way to neutralize the overwhelming military advantage that these powers may have. So yes, they may be able to produce more guns, they may have more standing troops, they may have more tanks, they may have more waterborne capabilities in submarines, but at the end of the day, they are not able to attack you because they say to themselves, this nation may use the epitome of weaponry of destruction, which is the nuclear weapon. So yes, that's an example. It is the reason why they have never invaded Iran, and this is the reason why they have never invaded North Korea, although they always talk about them. Because you can't, because they have nuclear deterrence. They have nuclear deterrence. So in a nutshell, countries under the threat of imperialism and colonialism may pursue nuclear weapons primarily for deterrence, security, and to maintain their sovereignty. That's it. So for the brothers in the Sahel, for Ibrahim Traore, for General Assimi Goita, for General Abdurrahman Chiani, they need nuclear weapons. There's no reason why they shouldn't have it. Is the African man not capable of producing such? If he is not capable, then that's one thing. But if he is capable, why not? That's what I have to say. Thank you for listening to my video. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, and share the video so that we can get the message across of African sovereignty, Pan-Africanism, and unity between our people.